Kanchanaburi is one of the coolest places to visit in the whole of Thailand, and it's a little bit less explored than most other places in the country. Like anything in life, I don't think there is one definite answer for the best area to stay. It's going to depend a lot on your tastes. In this video, I'll break down the best areas to stay for nightlife, for nature, or for sightseeing. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video when I tell you about my experience staying in one of the famous floating hotels on the River Kwai. To keep things simple here, there are three main areas that you can stay in Kanchanaburi, and they are within the town, on the outskirts of the town, and way out of the town. There's a bit more to it than that, and I'll break that down later in the video, but they're the three main areas that you can stay. Let's start with staying within the town, and there are two areas here that I want to explore, and they are Thip Narong and Puek Sakan. Thip Narong is the area near the bus station and near the walking street. So this is the ultimate place for convenience. As soon as you get off the bus, you'll be right there near your hotel. This is actually a big advantage when we look at some of the places that are way outside of the town. Some of them are another hour's drive away. You also have the advantage of being near the walking street. This is the best place to grab a beer at night, and there are quite a few decent bars here. Also in this area is the night market, so there's some good and cheap snacks here too. I have to say though that I don't think Kanchanaburi has the best nightlife in Thailand, especially since you're probably coming from Bangkok, which does have some of the best nightlife. Personally, I think Thip Narong is the best area for budget travelers or backpackers, with most places coming in around 1,000 baht a night. Now staying within the town, but a little bit further north, is Puek Sakan, which in my opinion is the best area to stay for convenient sightseeing, while still being in a central and accessible location. Puek Sakan is the best area for sightseeing because it's the area closest to the bridge over the River Kwai and the Jeth War Museum. If you don't know a lot about Kanchanaburi, one of the reasons to come here is to explore the World War II history, and one of the most famous sites is the bridge over the River Kwai. The bridge over the River Kwai is in the area of Puek Sakan, as is the Jeth War Museum, to go learn more about the World War II history in the area. Now there isn't much here in terms of bars or nightlife, however there are quite a lot of quaint cafes. This area has a bit more of a natural feel to it, as it's possible to stroll along the River Kwai here. And in fact, some of the hotels are actually on the river. I'll talk about the famous floating hotels later in the video. However, if you don't feel like staying in one of the floating hotels, this would be a good place to stay, and you wake up and you got the river right there. It'd be a really peaceful, relaxing, beautiful place. Google Maps tells me this is about a 50-minute walk to the walking street, which is a bit far. However, the benefit of staying within the town is that it should be pretty easy to get a taxi. One thing to note, in Kanchanaburi, Grab doesn't work, so you have to actually hail a taxi or organize it through your hotel. But you should be able to easily do this from the bar area to your hotel in Puek Sakan. And it should be pretty affordable as you do it. If you go a little further north of Puek Sakan, there are even more places to stay on the River Kwai. At a glance, these hotels seem a little nicer than the ones within the town, and certainly located within a bit more of a natural setting. Here you'll be able to rent bicycles or rent kayaks and paddleboard on the River Kwai. These hotels will have the added advantage of being in a bit more of a natural setting, while still just about being accessible from the town. So this is the best place to stay if you want to enjoy the nature of Kanchanaburi, but you still might want to go into town in the evening one night. You'll be able to get a taxi, and it should take about 20 minutes to get to the walking street. As you get further outside of the town, there are some more interesting and unique places to stay. Kanchanaburi is a good place to go camping or even glamping. In Thailand, you don't need to bring a tent to campsites. You'll be able to rent one from the campsite, and some of them even have glamping sites, which is kind of like a big fancy tent to stay in. Finally, there are a handful of elephant sanctuaries that offer overnight stays. The overnight stays cost 5,800 baht, so this is a bit pricey, but you get to spend a lot of time with elephants in an elephant camp, and they'll have a whole program involved where you get to bathe, feed, and walk with the elephants. The advantage of doing this here is that these will be much less crowded than the ones in Phuket or Chiang Mai or pretty much anywhere else you'll go. Okay, now we're gonna venture way outside of the city to find some of the best nature spots in the whole of Thailand. Kanchanaburi, in my opinion, has some of the best natural beauty spots in the whole country. And it definitely has some of the most unique hotels. The two areas that we're going to look at way outside of the city are Sayok and Erawan Falls. Both of these areas are over an hour's drive away from the town. If you follow the road north from the town, it eventually splits. One goes east, one goes west, and these will take you to either Sayok or Erawan Falls respectively. So not only are these locations an hour's drive from the town, they're also about an hour's drive from each other. So you'll have to choose wisely which one you want to stay at. Obviously, being so far, it's not very easy to get a taxi, and you definitely can't go visit the bars and restaurants very easily. Erawan National Park is home to Erawan Falls, one of the most beautiful waterfalls in the country. This is a 7-tiered cascading waterfall that you can hike along, and it takes a couple of hours to explore the area. It's definitely an advantage being situated close to the falls because this gets very busy. I'd make sure to wake up early and get the hell there. Now you can't actually stay in Erawan Falls, but you can stay in some nearby locations. You'll find some similar spots to what I explained before, a lot more glamping and camping spots. This area is definitely cheaper to stay than Sayok, which I'll get to in a second. And most hotels here cost around 1,000 and 1,500 baht, although there are some fancier ones for around 3,000 baht per night. And now finally to Sayok. Sayok is home to, in my opinion, some of the coolest hotels in the whole of Thailand. You can see here that I chose to stay at Jungle River Rafts, which is one of a number of floating hotels on the River Kwai, as well as some really upscale upmarket glamping spots as well. Interestingly, it seems that a lot of these hotels in the area are owned by the same parent company, Serenata Hotels. I'll link this company in the description box below because it's definitely worth checking out what these hotels look like. They're some of the nicest hotels you'll ever see. They own 3 floating hotels on the river in Jungle River Rafts, which is the one I stayed in, the Float House, and the River Kwai Res Hotel. They also own a luxury cabin and onsen place called Home Patoi, and a glamping and adventure travel resort in Hintok Resort. All of these places look amazing, however, the cheapest one available is about 4,400 baht a night, which is definitely pretty expensive for Thailand. Some of the rooms in these hotels range up to about 15,000 baht a night, so it's definitely not a cheap place to stay. Now, I can't review all the hotels in the area because I haven't stayed there, but I will now review what it's like to stay in one of the floating hotels. So because it's in the middle of the river, it's actually not very easy to get to. First, you've got to get dropped off at a pier, at which point there'll be someone waiting to greet you, and eventually a longtail boat will come and pull up. You'll get in the longtail boat and it's about a 15 to 20 minute ride up the river. And this is a really beautiful scenic ride up the river, which is part of the experience of staying here. Once you arrive at the hotel, there'll be someone there to explain to you the rules. There's actually no electricity on the floating hotels, so they explain the rules around gas lights and stuff like that, as well as the restaurant opening hours and what you can and can't do when swimming. Each cabin has a kind of porch area with a hammock and sun decks on the river. And this is perfect just to sit in and chill out in. So you are able to swim on the river, but you must wear life jackets. And quite frankly, you're gonna need it. This river runs fast. I would not wanna get in this river without life jackets. And they recommend that you can float from one end of the hotel down to the other. Like I said, this moves pretty quick, so this is over in about a minute or two, but it is a fun experience. Annoyingly, our cabin was the final one, so this was the area most people got out of the river. So they were kind of climbing on our deck, which was pretty annoying. Also, because we were the end one, my wife Jordan actually had to jump in to save a child that had missed it. This river runs so quick, to get out, you have to grab a rope and then pull yourself in. And this kid just missed it and started screaming. Now my wife managed to get her out at the next stop. However, if she hadn't done that, this kid would have been screwed. She would have been gone down the river before we even knew it. And if we weren't there to see it, it would have been a while before anyone even noticed this kid was gone. One thing to know about staying in these hotels is it's definitely not very convenient to see the rest of Kanchanaburi from. Now the boat journey to and from your hotel is included in the price. However, if you want additional rides in that boat, it's pretty extortionate at 1,000 baht per person each way. So if you want to go from there to go and see the bridge over the River Kwai or the Deaf Railway, that's going to cost you 2,000 baht per person to get there and back to your hotel. They do run guided tours from these hotels, but again, they're extremely overpriced. Now I kind of get that you pay a premium to stay in these hotels, and even that it might be pretty pricey when you're buying a beer or you're buying food from there, but the way they kind of try and get you into these tours is something that rubbed me the wrong way here. When I stayed in Kanchanaburi, I spent 2 days staying in the town, and then on my final night moved to one of the floating hotels. This allowed me to see pretty much everything I wanted to see in Kanchanaburi and still experience this amazing hotel. Personally, I think this would be the best option for most people because it's going to get pretty pricey if you're spending more than a night or two here. Okay, I'm trying to be the most informative Thailand travel channel on YouTube. If you support me in the same, please hit the like button. Apparently it really helps me out. You can also leave a comment telling me which place you would rather stay. After watching this video, you may want to check out my guide to the top things to do in Kanchanaburi, or check out this video here to check out all the best places to stay all around Thailand.